Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, all right? Make sure you log it in and you remember to check out my good friends over at the Broken Table Podcast live on YouTube. These are some of my good friends. They have some of the best topics going on. They're talking about a lot of good things. And also, they like to put over the Prince Nana dance. Hey, I swerve and I drive. I swerve and I drive. Hey. Don't forget, tune in, log on to the Broken Tables Podcast live on YouTube, my friends.
Swerve when I drive, yeah, swerve when I drive, yeah, swerve when I drive. Big pressure, I'll survive. Dude. Welcome, everybody, to the Broken Tables Podcast. I am your host, Jeffrey Vegas, here as always with our reigning, defending Broken Predictions champion. How you doing tonight, Rome?
I'm doing fantastic right now.
Oh, dude, I absolutely had an amazing time today. Prince Nana with our new opener there. I'm so ecstatic for that new opener. I was smiling from ear to ear all day waiting for that to show you guys. Welcome everybody to the AEW Dynamite review for Grand Slam 2023. And man, this was a freaking awesome show. Couple of injuries throughout the show. It looked like, nothing confirmed yet, but still a great episode of Dynamite, huh?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously we knew Grand Slam was going to be a big show for them. It's a show that, at least for me, I really needed to see them come out and do well. We didn't do the Collision review. I did not like Collision this past Saturday. I did not think it was very good. And there's a part of it that I do want to talk about, and I think I'll probably bring it up as we close. Because I do want to talk about Dynamite more. It was an excellent night. So I do want to focus on that first. But I thought that they absolutely crushed it tonight. I thought every match on the card was great at best, or great at worst, excellent at best.
Yeah.
It was a great show. Obviously, there's some people we're gonna have to pay attention to in terms of injury wise. Ryan Davis asking about any word on Jon Moxley. So we know that after the finish of the match, which was obviously not planned the way it went down, Mox did get up under his own power after a few minutes of being tended to by the doctors. He went back to his trailer, at which point I believe the picture that WrestleVotes got was Claudio, Yuta, Tony Khan, Renee outside of it, while Doc Sampson was looking at John in the trailer. Apparently Orange Cassidy also went in with Mox. It looks like he landed on his head wrong. Could be a concussion. I would say that's what I would expect it to be, but obviously we have to see what comes out officially. But that's all we got so far. But we do know that he had all extremities. He was, he left on his own power. Yeah. So good stuff there.
It did look like he bumped his head early in the match, but I saw somebody post a video of a slow-mo of that first driver that Ray Fenix gave him. And man, it's like a stone cold looking moment right there. So hope he's all right.
Yeah, for sure.
So you said you wanted to go over a couple of minutes of Collision first. What you got? Because after you guys all kind of said it was skippable, I did not even watch it.
Yeah, I guess we can start with that before we get into Dynamite. So I watched Collision this past Saturday. Not gonna go super in depth, but I'm just gonna run through everything. Quick thoughts, rapid fire takes. I thought the show was generally skippable, not very good. Um, the matches, the first and last match were great, but the middle of it just terrible. Big Bill, Ricky Starks, Claudio, and Bryan Danielson was great. Um, the Hung Bucks getting ready for their 6-man tag match this Friday on Rampage. We got a Book of Hobbs promo. It was the same exact thing Hobbs had done every single promo before that. Miro had a great promo though. I would definitely recommend catching up with that. That was really good.
Okay.
And then the big thing that I definitely want to talk about was this fucking Keith Lee promo, right? So I'm watching Collision, and the camera cuts, and it's Keith Lee with Lexi Nair, and there's a guy on screen. What is this guy doing? The guy goes, "Take 22," does a slate, and I'm like, "There's no way, there's no way." And then like there was the awkward pause of like 5, 4, like go, and I'm like, "There's no way they left this in." And I'm watching this, right? And what followed was what was, for all intents and purposes, a terrible, terrible promo in its own right. And so, like, I was left here after this segment, and it completely took me out of the entire night because for multiple reasons. Number one, you are 4 years in, you are trying to be the number 2 wrestling promotion in the world. You're trying to be taken seriously. This needs to stop with these technical difficulties, like these, like, how did this happen? How the hell did they leave this stuff in? And like, I get it, accidents happen, and I'm trying to be understanding, but they have a reputation for it where it's not good. It's not a good look, and they need to do better. And then my second thought is there was 22 takes of this at least, and this was the best take. Like, I was sitting there like, this was not good to begin with, but this is the one they went with. It was fucking terrible. Like, this just sucked, and honestly, like, I said it on Twitter, I said it on the Discord, and I have it in my notes for this Collision review. It was an all-time low for the production value of this company. Like, I would use the word embarrassing to
Really? Man.
describe it. Yeah, it was just I could not believe it. And I was talking to Coach in the Discord the other day about it as well. And I was just like, man, this is really bad. Like, it's a bad promo to begin with. And it took 22 takes, and they left, like, the editing was non-existent.
Yeah, I was watching a
don't
lot of
wanna,
college
like,
football, so I didn't get to see it.
and like, again, like, I don't want to like bring down the vibe because tonight's Dynamite was incredible, but it was just terrible. And then we got John Silver, Anthony Bowens. The match was fine. I thought it went on really long. It was very slow paced. We got an Eddie Kingston promo, which was really good, setting up for tonight. But there was some weird fucking noises going on, like, in the background. Like, could we tell the ring crew to hold the fuck up to let Eddie cut this promo? It was just weird. Um, Orange Cassidy and Hook made a tag team. That was really cool. Aussie Open got a squash match in, F- because it's a squash match. Tony Storm, Portrait of a Star. That was phenomenal. Love that. Scorpio Sky returned again against Andrade. I just don't care about Scorpio Sky at this point. I wrote in my notes, "Oh my God, Kevin Kelly." I think Kevin Kelly said, "Oh my God," with what had to be the pulse of a dead alpaca. Like,
Oh
I'm
my
just,
God.
and then they had the Hardys versus the Righteous, and the Hardys looked terrible. The Righteous won clean, which was the right call.
Nice.
But I don't want to see the Hardys anymore. Um,
I have no choice.
and then Ricky Starks. We're almost done, real quick. Ricky Starks had a promo to set up for this Saturday on Collision, and they did at this point it felt like a bit. So they had a guy with the end slate, and they did it again. But like this time, Big Bill was like reacting to the guy, like, "What are you doing? Get out of here!" And so, like,
Really?
my thought process was like, the first one was definitely a mistake, and was the second one them just kind of owning up to it, which, like, I appreciate and respect you owning up to it. However,
Yeah.
it's still like it was so cringe where I was
Yeah,
just
that's bad.
like, look, I get it. You made this mistake. I don't need you to make fun of it the same night. My advice to you would just be like, make sure it doesn't fucking happen again. And then we got a great main event with Statlander and Britt Baker. I thought it was one of Britt's best matches to date,
Nice.
actually, and I loved it. with Julia watching on. So clearly we're setting up for Julia Hart versus Chris Statlander. Um, you might notice on my notes, I did not mention FTR versus Iron Savages. That's because I skipped it. So, hey man, out of principle, moving forward, if the Iron Savages are booked, I ain't watching. So,
All right. Well, let's get into the Dynamite review here. Because this Dynamite absolutely kicked ass. I guess you could call it the polar opposite of that Collision. This Dynamite was absolutely incredible. I'm seeing people all over the place on Twitter here like, wow, 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 what a great Dynamite. Enjoyed everything, just all across the board. That's all I'm seeing right now is everybody enjoyed Dynamite tonight.
oh, for sure. No, it was an excellent episode of Dynamite. Again, it was the best case scenario for them because like we didn't do the Saturday show. I was scathing Saturday night. Like I was like look, man, I understand you had to do what you had to do. Fired CM Punk. You got to make Collision better. And this Saturday's Collision coming up looks really good. So,
Yeah.
I'm going to chalk it up to just a rough few weeks there for Collision, but hopefully it can be better in the future.
Yeah, I mean, the first, 7 weeks were freaking fantastic, so I can see them having a little bit of a lull here. But AEW Dynamite Grand Slam from Arthur Ashe Stadium. We started off the show with the title versus title match, Claudio Castagnoli versus Eddie Kingston. And holy shit, this match exceeded every expectation I had for it. And I knew it was going to be great, but dude, I loved this more than, I don't even know what to tell you more than what, but dude, this match was amazing.
Yeah, I don't think that anything on the card tonight topped this. I thought this match was just excellent.
I mean, this and the main event were right up there, 5 stars.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Ian Riccaboni, who in the middle of his college classes, he's back in school for, I think, for an MBA.
Yeah.
His class was going on. He literally left his virtual class, to call the match, and then as soon as the match was over, he ran outside and went back to his class. And I was like, that's GOAT level shit, right?
Yeah, that was pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, but yeah, this was just a complete excellent match. I loved the storytelling of this match, where it's just it's a story years and years in the making, where there's just this animosity. They're in Eddie's hometown. Eddie comes out wearing a bulletproof vest.
So dope.
Like you could just feel the emotion. You could really feel it. And like this was a crowd that was obviously in New York. You're going to be very pro Eddie Kingston. And again, it was an excellent match with excellent storytelling, and the moment was just right. I mean, I know a lot of people wanted Mark Briscoe to beat Claudio before Mark got hurt. And I was kind of one of the few who was like, let's hold off on that. We don't, I think there's a better story to be told, and it ended up paying dividends here. So I'm very happy with how it went down.
Yeah, and Claudio's gear was a throwback to Misawa, and Eddie's gear was for Kawada. So like they had a lot of this planned out. I loved every moment of this. Claudio was wearing the Rivera jacket, the steakhouse in New York that a lot of wrestlers visit. Dude, I'm telling you, if I ever go there, I gotta visit this steakhouse, man.
Isn't
I don't
the
know if you
Rivera
gotta be like,
Steakhouse in Japan?
What's that?
Japan? Isn't it in Japan?
Oh, is that the one that's in Japan? I thought it was in New York.
No, it's in Japan.
You're right. You're right. I think that is the one in Japan. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Damn. Maybe if I ever go to Japan, I'll try to visit that. But yeah, man, this was incredible. The crowd was going absolutely nuts for Eddie Kingston. Every time Eddie had any little bit of offense in, the crowd just went ballistic here. They started off just absolutely chopping the living crap out of each other. Claudio's chest was ground beef within like the first 3-4 minutes. There was a really, really awesome spot where the chops stopped working on Claudio. When he does the machine gun chops in the corner, and Claudio just starts looking down and he's like, bro. And instead of just kind of like trying to chop him again, Claudio just punches him square in the mouth and drops him. I laughed so hard. I was like, this is one of my favorite spots of all time. I loved that spot so much. We get 3 back fists consecutively from Eddie Kingston, a Northern Lights bomb, and still only a 2 count. Dude, I lost my mind. I absolutely lost my mind on that 2 count right there. Um, Claudio winds up hitting another back fist into a power bomb for the 1-2-3. And we have a new Ring of Honor World Champion. Finally, Eddie Kingston is your two belts. What are we going to call him? Two belt Eddie? Eddie two belts? Ring of Honor World Champion and the New Japan Strong Champion. This was incredible.
So Alex Sanchez in the chat asks, is Eddie Kingston or MJF the King of New York? Jeff, who's the King of New York?
So, Eddie Kingston is the Mad King of New York. And I guess MJF's the King of Long Island, isn't he?
Well, so yeah, I was going to say, I would cheat for this one. I would say that New York is such a big and varied place that, like, they're both kings of New York.
Yeah,
like, Eddie Kingston is, like, the king of, like, the streets of New York and Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And then MJF is the king of, like, Long Island and, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So,
yeah, they can both be the kings.
yeah, but you know, I love this match. I love the finish, and you know what? Again, this perfect ending to a decades-long story, where you know at the end of the match, Claudio gets up and he shakes Eddie's hand. Which
Could
again, pay off.
Like, I just kind of thought of this. Could you possibly see a tag team with those two, the kings of New York?
No, I think the two of them hate each other.
They probably do, to be honest. Yeah.
No, there's no way that Eddie Kingston and MJF could ever get along. There would be no coexistence.
Yeah. But this was great, man. Absolutely love it. Super, super happy for Eddie Kingston, man. I think I changed the thumbnail probably 4 or 5 times throughout the night of different pictures of Eddie. And then they finally put out that and new photo. So I was like, yep, there it is. All right. Next up, we had a promo of Roddy in the hospital on a monitor. You could hear the beeping from the hospital monitors. I immediately started laughing my ass off here. He had the Kingdom sitting next to him bedside. There was a nurse tending to him as well. Dude, Roderick Strong. I would have never guessed. If you had told me towards the end of 2023 that we would be considering Roderick Strong one of the best characters in AEW right now, I'd have laughed in your face. But this shit is hilarious, dude. I love it.
So I would like to read for you my notes for this segment, word for word. So everything is all caps for this entire thing. Line number 1, LMAO Roddy.
Yeah.
Line number 2, LMAO, I can't see you, Adam. Line number 3, LMFAO, the bed. This was so good and just so wonderful. Like everything about it. Like I know the Kingdoms for some come off a little dry in their promos. I thought that everything that they've done in this storyline has just been absolutely fantastic.
Excellent.
They're sitting there and they're like, we're all about this neck awareness, neck health awareness. And they're just like, you're so brave, Roddy. And Roddy is sitting there in the hospital bed with the neck brace and the fucking glasses. For no reason, these glasses. And so like they have to go. Adam Cole shows up and he's like, Adam, I can't see you, Adam. And he's like, Roddy, I'm right here. Open your. He's like, oh yeah, there you are. So good,
dude. It was very, very good. This again, the WWE let Adam Cole go and Roddy go. I mean, dude, come on. Like, they wanted to turn this guy into a manager and cut his hair. I'm still befuddled by this.
So John Brenner in the chat, and just to go backwards real quick, and because I really agree with this and I really love this as well. John says that he really loved that it was a super realistic beef squad. No, we're best friends now, or no low blow. Just we're cool. We respect each other, but I still hate your guts.
Yeah. And I was kicking myself that I didn't mention that they did shake hands at the end of the match. Claudio extended his hand, and Eddie did shake his hand. Yep. Eddie did shake his hand. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I had said. He had shake. But yeah.
Roderick Strong definitely has a fake neck injury, Michael. He's been wrestling, and then they've immediately been putting the neck brace back on him immediately after the match. It's hilarious. I absolutely love it. And
yeah, remember when he turned around and saw Adam?
Yeah, and then he just falls down like someone shot him.
Oh my God, so good.
Oh man. All right. Next up, we had Christian and Luchasaurus with Renee Paquette. Christian cuts a promo on Sting and Darby Allin, and he calls for a three-way dance between himself, Luchasaurus, and Darby Allin, and says the only way you're getting this shot at me is if Sting is banned from ringside.
Mhm.
So, I have a little theory here. Do you think this is a way where Christian's really going to take the TNT championship from Luchasaurus? Or he's going to try to, and Luchasaurus is going to get angry in the middle of the match?
Well, number one, I don't think Luchasaurus is actually going to care about whether he or Christian win this match.
Okay.
That being said, there is a possibility here where they could make this be like the moment where they like do have Christian officially take the belt. Although I don't think it's necessary.
No.
I think that the great thing about the Christian Luchasaurus thing is that both guys benefit from this because Luchasaurus in the record books, like when we look back on it, they're going to be like, yeah, Luchasaurus was the champion who defended the title and had this reign. But like, obviously, a shortcoming of Luchasaurus, purely based on his character, because when he was on BT years back, he was pretty entertaining. But based on his character, who doesn't talk much, having Christian Cage there to be the heel, it's a really fascinating concept where you have these two guys coming together to really make the ultimate heel. Because you have like Christian Cage with the character and just like all the stuff and the promos and the storylines and the getting the heat. And then you have Luchasaurus, who is the menacing monster heel in the ring. And so like it's a really perfect combination where you bring these guys together. It just works.
Yeah.
So much so that even though I am someone who believes it's okay for the TNT championship to be hot potatoed, man, I really don't want to see this act broken up for a while. I mean, that being said, who knows? Maybe Darby does win it on Saturday. But,
Ooh, that'd be
I
wild.
digress. I think this is great. And I also really like that Christian ended the promo telling Darby, remember, bring the boy, which is Nick Wayne.
Yeah, bring the boy. Yep.
Bring the boy.
All right. You think maybe we see Edge on that collision there?
I don't know, dude. I mean, we'll see. I mean, even in the Discord today, I was stirring the pot a little bit.
Yeah.
I didn't think we were going to see Edge tonight.
No.
Mostly because the tag match was on Rampage, and I was like, "There's no way."
Yeah. Once you said that, I
They're
was
gonna
like,
have-
yeah, you're completely right.
Yeah, but I knew it this morning because when I woke up this morning, I looked at the card to see because everyone's obviously buzzing talking about it. When I looked at the card for tonight, I was like, "Oh, the tag match is on Friday." They're not. I don't know. I mean, if you ask me what the percentage I think Edge shows up in AEW, I honest to God think it's a 50-50 split. Just because like I don't think Edge wants to work for anyone else than WWE, but obviously his best friend's in AEW and he's had a career reinvigoration. The Christian Cage has done the best work of his career in AEW. Like
yeah. He's got three best friends in AEW. FTR are very good friends with Edge as well.
That's also very true.
So
there's definitely friends there that would definitely he'd be like, sure he would love to work with,
Yeah.
and not even work with just them, but work with like, and that's the nice thing about AEW. And I think Jericho said it today on a podcast or a show he was on, where it's like, even if you want to like, how do I want to put this? It being a second alternative, being an alternative to WWE, like these wrestlers can kind of look at their careers and be like, I've done everything I can do here. Can I go to AEW and be successful there and do these other things and have these fresh matches? Like, for example, Fightful Select reported that Sheamus' contract expires next year. I don't think it's the most unbelievable thing in the world to think that maybe Sheamus makes that jump next year. I mean, what more could Sheamus do in WWE? He hasn't done. But that's a guy that he could come into AEW while still relatively not young, but like in his 40s. I mean, we see nowadays in wrestling, like wrestlers go. Sting's 67.
Oh,
so
Sheamus can still go for sure. No doubt.
That's my point.
No
My
doubt.
point is that Sheamus can go into AEW and have like a 5-year run and be like have a whole fresh new guys to work with. And so,
Dude.
like, you never know.
Just hearing that, I am absolutely down with a Sheamus run in AEW. Not sure
Yeah,
it'll
I
ever
think that
happen, but I'm 100% down for that.
for sure.
And
I don't know if it would ever happen either. But again, like, there are matches. Like, could you imagine Sheamus versus Eddie Kingston?
oh,
That would be great. I would love to see Sheamus and John Moxley go at it again with the gloves off. I think that would be great.
dude, give me
Um,
Sheamus and Miro again. Oh,
Sheamus and Miro, Sheamus and Hobbs.
yeah.
There's
Meat.
great matches.
Give me the meat. um, one of the reasons that I do think we might see Edge is like, if you were to tell me his last match is going to be against Sheamus, and then that was like by his choice, I'd be like, no way. You know what I mean? So I just really think there's got to be one more match left somewhere for him,
But my devil's advocate to that, my counterpoint would be that match wasn't just any old match, it was in his hometown.
True. That is true.
So, I
It
don't know.
seemed like they just kind of saved it because they knew they were going to be in Toronto. They're like, all right, we'll just wait till Toronto and then you can have it.
Well, I will say this. I do think he's done with WWE. I don't think you're going to see him in a WWE ring wrestling again. I think he's either done or he's going to AEW.
Yeah. We'll find
But I
out
don't know
soon, I hope. All right. Next up, we had Chris Jericho versus Sammy Guevara. And man, Sammy Guevara, with the guy who raps his music, I'm completely blanking on his name right now. What was that guy's name?
What happened? I'm sorry.
What was the name of the guy that does Sammy Guevara's song? I'm blanking right now on his name.
Montezzi.
Montezzi, there we go. Montezzi on stage with Sammy Guevara to walk him to the ring, rapping the song. Dude wasn't the greatest live, but it is what it is. When people are walking you to a ring, we're not looking for quality. It's just kind of part of the show. I thought it was pretty cool for Sammy to get a big old entrance here. He had the lights. The lights went out like it was a championship match for boxing.
Well, I mean, so the big thing to take away for me at the beginning of the match was the entrance was Sammy's gear.
Yep.
Obviously, Sammy had the jacket, which was obviously an homage to Jericho, and many did not pick up on this. And if you remember in the Discord, I called the finish of this match because of the gear, but Sammy's gear was identical to Chris Jericho's gear in WrestleMania 19. Now, for those who aren't aware, WrestleMania 19 was Chris Jericho versus Shawn Michaels. Jericho, the whole storyline was that Jericho grew up idolizing Shawn, so you would think that they would have this super respectful match. After the match, Shawn wins the match via a roll-up. After the match, Shawn extends his hand to shake Chris's hand. Chris grabs his hand and hugs him, embraces him, and you're like, man, this is such a cool moment for Chris. He didn't win the match, but he got to meet his hero and bond with his hero, his childhood hero. So cool. And then Jericho low blows him. Shawn slides down Jericho's chest. A beautiful moment for sure. And so here, and like we'll talk about the match a little bit briefly, but I love the poetry of it so much where obviously Jericho picks up the win here. It wasn't a roll up, so I thought it was actually better for it to not be a roll up. But Jericho extends his hand. Sammy embraces his childhood idol. And then what does Sammy do? But he pulls that low blow and Jericho slides down Sammy's chest. And man, I love it. I love so much like I think many of our viewers do, when one of our favorite things about AEW is the way it kind of does pay homage to the past while still looking forward to the future. And I think that echoing this was just pure poetry. And it's one of the moments that make me love pro wrestling. I think the match was great. I thought it went on a little too long. But man, that shooting star press to the Judas effect was just incredible. And another small thing about the match and kind of mirroring the WrestleMania 19 match was Sammy did things that Jericho does during this match. Whereas during that match, Jericho was also doing things that Shawn Michaels did during that match. So again, just it was super poetic. It rhymes. Who was it that said? I think George Lucas once said it. The beautiful thing about storytelling is when you can make it rhyme, like when it's like a poem. It's like, yeah, that's so dope. So I really loved it.
Yeah, it was very good. And man, I don't know if we can say enough about this shooting star press from the top rope by Sammy Guevara, landing into a code breaker for Chris Jericho to pick up the 1-2-3. This looked so smooth. And I mean, you could practice this 10 times and this would be the take, like if you got to do takes on this would be the take you put in the film. You know what I mean? Like, this was just absolutely incredibly done by Sammy Guevara. And, immediately when Jericho won, I was like, really? I was like, we're not putting Sammy over here? But as it went on here, I really think it did put Sammy over, doing the finish that they did, the thing that you called there with the low blow and Jericho slumping down. And, we had Don Callis coming out, so it looks like Sammy Guevara is going to be joining Don Callis' little family here. It was just done so well. Everything about this was done fantastic. And I get it. If a lot of people have a problem with the finish of Jericho winning, I get it. I thought so at the moment as well, but the more that I've thought about it, I'm perfectly fine with Jericho winning that.
Well, again, it's all about the bigger picture here, and like originally in my notes, I wrote that where I was like, I don't think the right guy won here. But I even wrote it in my in my notes where it's like, but are they going to do the WrestleMania 19 thing? And then they did, so then I deleted that point off my notes.
Yep.
Where it's just like, I get it, but here's a few things you got to keep in mind if you look at Chris Jericho. Jericho needed a win, believe it or not. He has not won at all this year. So like this year for Jericho has been he jobbed to Claudio, and then he jobbed to Action Andretti, and then he jobbed to Ricky Starks, and then he jobbed to I'm forgetting what happened before the Will Ospreay thing, but he jobbed to Will Ospreay. Like, the dude needed a win. Okay, like I get it. But especially the way you do it, where you have Sammy still come off with this heat to align with Don Callis, and it props to them. It took a lot of guts to do that because Sammy got really over with the crowd again as a face. So it is impressive to see Sammy make that jump. I also find it funny that you could argue that the four pillars are yin and yang, where there needs to be balance. Where it's like, okay, well, we had 3 baby faces and a heel for the 4 pillars. Somebody had to go heel, so
yeah,
balanced again.
Do you have any problems with Sammy Guevara going heel here after we just kind of got his baby face going?
Well, no, like I said, it definitely takes guts, and I definitely respect the tenacity to do it. Do I have an issue with it? No, I don't have an issue with
That's
it.
where
I think
I'm at
that
too, yeah.
I think that at the end of the day, you told a great story here, and I mean, look, we have to be realistic here. This was the best way for Sammy to break off of Jericho. Sammy and Jericho have been a thing since literally day one of AEW, and it just makes sense for them to break up here. At the same time, it didn't make sense for Jericho to join the Don Callis. It just didn't.
No, I agree.
You got to have Sammy do it. And I also love how they had Daniel Garcia kind of be the red herring there, where it's like, oh man, Don Callis is scoping out Garcia, and he still is. But having that take all the thought off of Sammy joining the family, very smart by them. Very smart.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Next up, we had MJF arriving with Adam Cole in a really, really nice green Porsche that I think was obviously in London still. He cuts an awesome promo on Samoa Joe. And Adam Cole gets a phone call in the middle of MJF's promo here. And he says, Roddy, you're not gonna die. And he's like, I'm sorry, MJF, I gotta go. And he takes off right in the middle of MJF saying, we're better than you, waiting for for Cole to say, it. But, this was good. What'd you think?
Yeah, I thought it was a good promo setting up for the match later in the night. They definitely weren't in London because they had the New York Better Than You Bebe shirts. But,
yeah, that car, there's people in London that are showing pictures of that car that was outside of Wembley.
I mean, did they have those shirts all the way back in August? I don't know.
Maybe,
man.
I don't know.
That's a bit much. I don't know how much I believe that.
But, maybe they had the same car. You never know.
Maybe.
But this was great. I love all these MJF and Adam Cole segments. Everything that's involved in this whole storyline is fantastic. Absolutely loved it. Next up, we had Sammy Guevara backstage with Don Callis getting confronted by Renee Paquette. Don Callis says, don't talk to her. And they kind of walk off. And Daniel Garcia shows up from off screen. And we have a little bit of a face-to-face with Garcia and Guevara. And this is what I was waiting for, man. I saw people all night like, where is Daniel Garcia? Where is Garcia? And all of a sudden he showed up and I was like, yes. You know what I mean? Love seeing Daniel Garcia on my television, and I've been waiting for this blood feud between these two. I actually hope this turns into like a serious, like these two hate each other type thing.
I mean, speaking of really just perfection in moments, it occurred to me at this point that Sammy Guevara is Judas.
Ooh.
I mean, Jericho had all of these followers, these apostles. Not to get too biblical, but Jericho had all these followers, and I mean, I guess the apostles didn't all abandon Jericho. I don't think they did. Well,
Wow.
or Jesus told them. I'm still putting it together, but
You might be
I,
onto something there. Yeah. Put that together and yeah.
again, like I mean, my religious education, decades old, so going off a very brief remembrance. But yeah, I'm pretty sure didn't Jesus tell his apostles to abandon him? So I mean, it's not the exact same. But if Jericho, the JAS all disbanded, then Judas turns on Jesus. A lot of J's. I'm getting very confused. I'm confusing myself quite a bit right
I
now.
haven't been to Wednesday school since I was like early teens.
That's what I'm saying. Like younger than that.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, that's it was an interesting thought that I had where it's like even Sammy like tweeted something. What have I become? Which is again obviously Judas the song. So
That's a great point though. Like if that's what they're doing and that's his song and that's what Sammy is, that's great. I love it. All right, next up we had the AEW International Championship, Ray Fenix versus John Moxley. This was a street fight, right?
no, it was just a match.
Okay, so before the match then they were fighting on the ramp and they called that the street fight. That's where I was confused. So I thought that might have been what he was talking about cuz Taz was like, "Oh, we got a street fight here." So, okay. They were just talking about the brawl before the bell rang. But this was a freaking awesome match. A lot of people on the Twitter thought early on that Moxley had taken a small bump to the head and some people were wondering if he looked a little concussed. And then we had the finish. I mean, I'd like to talk about the match being amazing and all that, but it's kind of being overshadowed right now by the finish. Ray Fenix hits that nasty driver of his. I don't know exactly what you call that, but it's like a pile driver over the shoulder type thing. And in the slow-mo video, it does look like Moxley's head absolutely hits the mat here. And he does not kick out of the first pin. But the ref stops his count at 2 anyway. Fenix picks him up and does it again, and the ref counts 3. I hate to take away from, his win here because it was a great match. Absolutely congratulations to Ray Fenix. He 100% deserves it, you know what I mean? But really hope Mox is okay here. I thought it was just that small bump on the head at the beginning of the match, but seeing that first driver, his head hit the mat, and it just instantly gives you the Stone Cold Owen Hart vibes, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was a rough moment. In the moment, a very scary moment. Because obviously, Mox has just been so important, and the fans. So, you don't want to see anybody get hurt, but you especially don't want to see someone like John Moxley get hurt.
Yeah.
So, it sucks, but at the end of the day, we know that he has all of his feelings and everything. It wasn't a neck injury or anything like that, at least not to the extent of something you don't even want to talk about.
Yeah.
But he after the match, he was tended to by the doctors, and they were doing the whole like, we moving your hands, moving your fingers, you have all your feeling in your legs, stuff like that. And he got up and he walked out under his own power through the crowd. And like I said, when the show started, he was in his locker room. Pictures were posted of just people outside of his locker room. Apparently, or his trailer. Orange Cassidy and Doc Samson were apparently the ones that went in to look at him. Very interesting. Orange Cassidy, locker room leader, as you know.
Yeah,
I mean, hey man, the guy does it all. He might as well be a locker room leader.
absolutely.
But no, I mean, it's just, it was a great match that was really cooking until he got hurt. So I mean, it sucks to see, and then obviously the match didn't end the way you want to see it end. But hopefully Mox is okay, and maybe they run it back. I don't know.
Yeah. So like I said, great match till the finish there, a little overshadowing. Hate to see it, but hope Mox is all right. He did get like you said, he walked off on his own power. We just wish the best to him. I think it's about time Mox takes that time off that he was supposed to take about a year ago before Brawl Out. So I think it's about time, Mox. Go have some time off, heal up. Hope everything's good. Next up, we had a quick promo from Samoa Joe, cutting a promo on MJF for their match later on. This was decent. Nothing to write home about, but it was fine. The next up, we had a bunch of promos, one from the Hardy Boys, one from the Kingdom, one from the Best Friends, one from the Righteous. And all I wrote down here was, my God, I love the Righteous. I love these two dudes, and every time that guy says, like, you hear what I'm saying, man? Dude, I'm just like, yeah, man, I totally hear what you're saying, bro.
Yeah, Vincent's great. The Righteous are great. I really like them. My thing coming out of this, man, and I don't want to be that guy because I am a big believer that, like, the older talent, there's a spot on the card for you, even if you can't go as much as you used to, right? Like I'm not usually that kind of guy, but the Hardys have just really,
Yeah,
really not good,
very
and it's
slow.
like noticeably bad, and so like it really sucks to see. But like my big thing here is, so the Hardys on Saturday lost clean to the Righteous. How do they exactly figure in to be in this number one contenders match? Like, the Righteous won, so I get the Righteous. Hold on, I want to make sure I have all the.
And you said
the
it was clean, right?
Yeah, it was a clean. It was a clean win, no cheating. The Righteous straight up beat them.
It should be the Guns in that spot, way over the
Hold on, I'm
Hardys.
about to tell you. So okay, so the four teams in this number one contenders, the Kingdom makes sense. They've been a mainstay of the AEW Ring of Honor brand. They just have been.
Yeah.
Had a lot of marquee matches, and they've won matches too. Plus, they're in a hot storyline right now with the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion. So it makes sense for the Kingdom to be in there. The Righteous, they also have been winning matches on Ring of Honor. They beat the Hardys clean on Saturday. Therefore, understandable that they're in there. Best Friends. I'm a big Best Friends guy, and I think that there is an argument to be made that they should be there because they do win a lot of their matches. They just don't win the big ones. So I can understand the Best Friends. The Hardys have looked terrible, and they haven't won any matches. So, you mean to tell me we couldn't put Darius Martin and Action Andretti in this match instead of the Hardys?
Okay, I would have been just as upset about that as you are about the Hardys. This should have easily been Aussie Open. Could have been. Well, I mean, there's a giant list of dudes that this could have been. Like,
so I don't disagree, but the reason I would not put Aussie Open in this match is because I don't think Aussie Open would win this match, and they have a tag title match at the pay-per-view. Okay. So that's for protecting them's sake. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't. Yeah. That's why I would not put Aussie Open in it. You could put Aussie Open in it, and they would be a better choice than the Hardys. Sure. For sure. But, I see the bunny card you just put up. You could have put the Butcher and the Blade in there. I mean, I would have rather seen that. Like, look, man, like, again, like, I love the Hardys, and it really sucks, especially if Edge is coming in, because obviously I would love for them to do, like, one last match, Edge and Christian versus the Hardys. And, like, for that match specifically, I would let my critique of them go. But, like, I'm sorry, but we're talking week-to-week television. There are a few people on this AEW roster who are consistently getting TV time. Honestly, baffles me.
Yeah.
And the Hardys are one of them. And, like, I know that the Hardys are really cool with the Bucks, and I don't want to start doing that thing because I'm a Bucks fan and an Elite fan. But, like, seems like a lot of these guys' friends keep getting spots that I think could go to other guys. I'm
I
just saying.
I would like to see the numbers. Like, are the Hardys bringing any views? You know what I mean? Like, show me the quarter hours, and if the Hardys are bringing views, okay. But if not, like, I'm sorry, Jeff, he fucked it up, and it's time to move on. You know what I mean?
I think yeah, man, that's the worst part of it. Like if Jeff doesn't get arrested and they have that run for that year, like
They would have been tag
man,
champs.
yeah, well, I mean,
It was
weren't
obvious
they?
that's where they were heading. They were heading to be
Wait,
the next tag champs.
didn't they beat the Bucks at Double or Nothing that one year?
Something like that, yeah. Like,
Or
I
am I
forget what
remembering wrong? I
happened
think the
because,
Hardys did win.
yeah,
Oh no, I might be backwards on that. I think the Bucks still won.
yeah,
But regardless, disappointing to
yeah.
see the
But
Hardys.
love the
Still.
Righteous. Can't wait to see what they do. Absolutely love these dudes. Vincent is just, oh, one of my favorite types. One of my favorite characters. Love it. Next up was the AEW Women's Championship, Saraya versus Tony Storm. And man, Rome, I'm sure you've heard me say it over and over every single pod for the past like 3 weeks. This new Tony Storm character is absolutely incredible. And they just added to it tonight with one of the best entrances for a female wrestler I have ever seen. We go almost NWO style. You could call it the Noir World Order. I think somebody put in the Discord. I think that was you.
That was
That
me.
was absolutely incredible entrance by Tony Storm tonight. If you didn't see it, please go find it on YouTube. This was one of my favorite entrances ever. I loved it.
Dude, it's so good. The black and white, like it was such a great idea.
And
Whoever
she's
got the
like,
idea.
oh, she's being that actress thing. Like she's leaning into the actress thing. I love it so much.
I think one of the best things about pro wrestling is if you have a great end, and that's
Oh,
a great end.
100%.
Like again, like pro wrestling, it's part of the spectrum. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
and it's if you have a great entrance, like since the dawn of my fandom of pro wrestling, like there are guys who I would say that I like that maybe they're not the best in the ring, but god damn if it's a great entrance.
Here, as quick as you can, the top 2 entrances of all time.
Oh no, you can't do that to me. That's
Just what comes to your mind first, like bang bang. What 2 start popping into your head?
oh. I mean, NWO, DX,
Okay.
CM Punk, Undertaker, obviously.
Yeah.
I love the Elite with Carry On My Wayward Son. That's a
That's pretty
big
good.
vibe. That's a big vibe.
For me, the first 2 that
Orange
popped into my
Cassidy.
the first 2 that pop into my head are obviously the Undertaker, just immediately, the lights go out, lightning strike, the the
Mhm.
bells. And then actually Ric Flair, that signature music of his with that giant robe that he had on. When I was a kid, like it was just like that dude was like God when I was a kid, you know what I mean?
I mean,
Obviously we don't like the guy too much now, but come on, like his entrance back in the day was just
look, man. I've had this hot take before, and I'll continue to have it. Um, I don't think Ric Flair is that good. And look,
you're
like
definitely on
the
an island
pitchfork,
with that one.
I understand. Look, the pitchforks are gonna come my way, and that's fine. I mean, like I'll take it, but like I don't know, like Ric
I can
Flair, like
understand your feelings like that. You know what I mean? I get it.
Ric Flair has never made me, and maybe I'm just a product of my generation. It's my age. Like I don't know. Like you're a little bit older than me. Maybe like Ric Flair just kind of hit a little bit different for you because
Yeah.
you're a little bit older and you saw him when he was more in his prime. But like you ask me, like what I think of when I think of Ric Flair, and like in terms of like feeling, like I feel nothing for Ric Flair. Like I
Oh
think the
yeah,
woo
no, yeah,
thing
yeah.
is, I think the woo is obnoxious. Like
It's
it's
gotten
funny
there
for
for sure.
it's funny for chops, but the woo's obnoxious. Like, I don't think he's necessarily very good in the ring, nor did he ever really like the guy like he had a legendary run in a sense that like when he was in the NWA and he was going from territory to territory and like it was a different time. So like of course obviously the dude's like a rock star in that regards. But like would like honestly, would a Ric Flair survive in today's wrestling world? I think no. I don't think he would.
I you
Like
know, I think you're actually right there, and you can kind of point to guys like Bobby Roode and stuff like that. Like it doesn't work. You know what I mean?
no, it doesn't. And like the only guy that really makes that gimmick even remotely work is MJF.
Yeah.
but like I'm like no, like again, like I think it was a different age where like it made sense for Ric Flair character because he was like they do the whole like limousine ride and jet flying thing, yeah, right. But like that was because that era where it was like territories where it's like, hey, Ric Flair's in town, he's the world champ, he's gonna bang all the rats, and then he's gonna go to wrestle a match and then go to the next town, and he had that mystique to him. So
Yeah.
like I think that that's where it comes from. I mean, Coog's a little bit older than me. Maybe Coog can kind of give me his perception of Ric Flair. But yeah, I don't know, man. Again, hot take, and I'm willing to die on this hill alone. But like, I
Oh, it's
think
all good.
generally, I mean, do I want to say this? Oh man, Jeff, would you want me to like garner some nuclear heat real quick?
Sure, lay it on us.
I think I might like the Miz more than I like Ric Flair.
Dude, I'm never listen. There are some people that will defend the Miz to the death right now. And like, listen, he ain't the greatest in the world, but man, if he isn't their fucking workhorse, you know what I mean?
He's consistent. He's a very consistent dude.
Yeah.
I will actually backtrack a little bit and
Ah,
say the one thing from Ric Flair that I absolutely love is when he would just like elbow his jacket. Like he would like take his jacket off. He'd be like
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
do his elbow on the jacket. Always loved that spot, and I will give him that.
That was
Like
great. I
love
agree.
spot.
Alex comes in with Taker and Brock Lesnar. Oh, dude, when Brock Lesnar's music hits, it like sits you up in your chair real quick. You like perk up. If you're falling asleep, you're like awake immediately. Absolutely. Oh,
You
that's a
want to hear
good
something
that was a
crazy?
good one. Anybody else that hasn't chimed in, what are your guys' favorite entrances in wrestling? Tony Storm's new one is one of mine right now. I'm absolutely loving it.
You know, speaking of Brock Lesnar, do you want to hear a crazy pro wrestling fact that you're not going to believe is true, but it is?
Shoot.
Chris Benoit has had a match on Monday Night Raw more recently than Brock Lesnar.
Wait, what?
Chris Benoit has had a match on Monday Night Raw more recently, like actually did the match
Yeah.
than Brock Lesnar.
Wow, is that really true? That's crazy.
It is. I learned it on Twitter this weekend.
I could have swore yeah, he probably just does the pay-per-views and
Yeah.
shit. Huh.
Yep.
Yeah, and he just beat up Cody a few times.
Yeah, exactly. That was the closest he got to doing a match, and he didn't actually do the match, so it doesn't count.
Wow. Oh, that's right. They
Mhm.
were like Brock's first match on Raw in 10 years or something, and then he
Yeah, like 20 years. Yep.
Wow. All right. Well, let's get back to this Tony Storm Saraya match because it was awesome. I mean, who would have thought in 2023 Saraya would be back as AEW Women's World Champion and putting on good matches? I'm not going to call it great, you know what I mean? But Tony Storm's character kind of made the match great. But this was a good match. I enjoyed every minute of it. I know a lot of people are saying Saraya should have dropped the title to Tony here, but you know, I'm okay with either way on the winner of this match. Like, I just enjoyed it.
You won't, but I will. This match was great.
All right, cool. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I thought this match was just really great, and obviously, I'm not saying that all falls on Saraya. Obviously, Tony Storm being one of the best characters in pro wrestling today. But like it was great. Yeah, I loved it. I loved the whole dynamic, the story being told between Saraya and Tony, Ruby's involvement,
Yep.
Saraya or Tony going under the ring, getting the shoes,
Oh, that was great.
throwing the shoes, Taz saying Feather Slipper Jones, loved it. And again, just really rich storytelling where it's like Tony's trying to do whatever it takes to win. Saraya shows moments of hesitation where like this is still her friend. She doesn't want to hurt her friend, but her friend's lost her mind. So she's got to do what she's got to do. And then obviously creepy Uncle Jeff loves Tony Storm just deciding to, you know, kiss Saraya.
Yeah, that was wild. I
Right.
was not expecting that there.
I mean, when you're crazy, I guess.
Yeah. Very reminiscent of Jade kissing Ty Mello back in the day.
Yeah.
But this was great. Saraya winds up hitting the nightcap off the second rope and picks up the 1, 2, 3. Lots of distraction from Ruby Soho, obviously. But Saraya retains here, and I mean, we just have an absolutely incredible character in Tony Storm right now. And I feel like the reason they didn't give her the win is this character is going to be like the drama going after the title. So I think we got a little bit more to go here for, you know, the drama aspect on this character.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we had a recap of Samoa Joe versus MJF, the whole feud that's been going on around these two. And then they show Samoa Joe walking down the hallway with security. And this was almost a mirror image of the NXT 7 years ago with MJF. But Joe didn't shove anybody into a wall. I thought that was a really cool moment there. And then MJF with I don't even know what to call this here, this video package with MJF, where he essentially was recreating the Pittsburgh Steelers towel moment, that commercial where he throws the towel to the kid and he's like, "Here, kid," and it was his scarf instead. Loved it.
Well, so I mean, people make that connection, and I'm not saying that it's not, the Bret Hart thing isn't influenced by that, but it's more accurate to say it's a recreation of the Bret Hart thing.
Yeah, I mean, but as someone who like grew up a Steelers fan as a kid, like immediately that's all I thought. I was like, "Oh, the Steelers thing, the towel, I love it." You know what I mean? So,
No, I mean, I get it. But if you watch all three of them side to side, which even before the pod, I real quickly did during a commercial break just to make sure that I was right on this. I understand that the Bret Hart thing probably takes inspiration from it, but if you watch these three things side to side to side, he's doing it's the Bret Hart. He's doing it specifically influenced by the Bret Hart. Like Jeff, after this, I would implore you to watch all three side to side to side.
Yeah, I'll have to check them out.
And there's obviously similarities, and like I'm sure the Bret Hart thing had some inspiration from it, but like no, it's more MJF was doing the Bret.
Okay, no worries.
Like they even have the kid yell it the same way, where it's like the kid yells MJF. It's like Bret. Same exact, minus the "you're adopted" line. Incredible.
Well, this was great either way. I think it was Taz says that's our scumbag. Loved it, or it might have been Excalibur. Still loved it. And next up was the AEW World Championship, MJF versus Samoa Joe. Man, this feud started 7 years ago with a shove from Samoa Joe to a young security guard MJF in NXT. This was a great match. Samoa Joe focusing on MJF's neck the entire match. MJF hit the kangaroo kick. I did not think he was going to hit the kangaroo kick in this match. I thought that was reserved for when he's in a tag team match, but MJF did wind up hitting that awesome kangaroo kick of his. And never in my life, Rome, did I think that I would be absolutely popping for what is called a kangaroo kick. But here we are. Absolutely love that freaking move. Love the spot. Hilarious. Nails him. Just absolutely nails Samoa Joe with this kangaroo kick. Freaking fantastic. But Samoa Joe hits this Death Valley driver on the apron. Rome. Hardest part of the ring. That Death Valley driver on the apron looked like he fucking killed him.
Such a crazy.
Dude, if you didn't see this, I'm sure it's all over Twitter. I'm hoping they post some clips of the match, but my God, MJF took this like a champ. He landed upside down, the middle of his back on the edge of the apron. I mean, wow. Hits a Uranagi onto a table on the outside. Hits a pile driver to MJF on the exposed concrete in front of the announcer's table. I mean, MJF's neck took an absolute beating in this match. Samoa Joe went to do the Muscle Buster. MJF counters the Muscle Buster into a awesome Liger Bomb. Loved that. Haven't seen a Liger Bomb in a while. And Samoa Joe wraps up MJF in the Coquina Clutch. MJF grabs the referee, pulls him in close, and hits a low blow on Samoa Joe. Only picks up a 2 count. Joe low blows MJF back, and he only gets a 2.9 after a Muscle Buster. I thought it was over with the Muscle Buster. I thought we had a new champion here, but MJF kicks out. MJF uses a piece of tape from his wrist or somewhere. I didn't see exactly where he got this piece of tape from. Samoa Joe had a ref bump, knocked the ref out of the ring. MJF wraps the tape around Samoa Joe's neck and locks him up in a rear naked choke, and Samoa Joe goes out. Referee crawls back in the ring and rings the bell. And somewhere in the middle of this, Adam Cole comes running down to the ring and he jumps off of, I don't know what he jumped off of. It looked really weird. And you could see that he tweaked his knee. I saw it immediately. I'm really hoping he just sprained an ankle or something like that. But Adam Cole was limping the entire end of the episode. I'm really, really hoping Cole is fine. I haven't seen anything come across my timeline about Cole being injured or anything like that. Hopefully it was just a little sprained ankle or something. But MJF does pick up the win here in a freaking fantastic match. I loved this main event. I do agree with you, Rome, though, that the opening match, Eddie Kingston Claudio, was a little better. That was just absolutely fantastic. Great episode of Dynamite here, man.
Yeah, something interesting going on trying to figure out what the context.
Yeah, I saw you on the phone there. What's going on?
Some people are talking about a Fightful report. One of the people I follow says Fightful report, one of the best ones in a while. Hopefully, shut some people up. And backup Hangman, who I also follow, said basically they're not cool with each other like that. But business is business, and what else are they going to do right now that'll give them TV time? But I don't see any I don't know. And a few people I follow are commenting on it still, but outside of this one tweet, I have no idea what's going because I don't see anything else.
Huh.
And I didn't see Fightful post anything either. I'm not subscribed to Fightful at the moment because I've been a little cost cutting, but I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what it is.
Well, I still think this Grand Slam was absolutely incredible. Even barring a couple of scary possible injuries here. Really hope everybody's okay. Rome, did you notice that this show was bookended by a handshake? Respect. Yep. Eddie Kingston, Claudio, handshake at the end, respect. And Samoa Joe, he gets up and he extends his hand in respect to MJF. MJF shakes his hand. We had this show open and close with a handshake. Absolutely loved it. I can't give this episode a 10 out of 10 because of those possible injuries. It's just a little bit of a dark cloud hanging over, but still an absolutely great episode. Loved every minute of this tonight.
I'm surprised nobody else reported on this. So apparently at 8:30 tonight, Fightful put out a post, and again, it's locked behind their Patreon paywall, and I'm just not subscribed right now. But it's spoiler news on an AEW feud with Real Life trying to.
Huh.
It was
I'm imagining they're talking about Eddie and Claudio.
Maybe, I don't know.
If you're saying what else are they going to do to get on TV, that's Eddie and Claudio. If they weren't doing this, what else are they doing right now? So I think that's who they're talking about.
I don't know. Hold on, let's see.
There was a point in that match, Rome, where I thought they were actually hitting each other. When Eddie was doing the machine gun chops and then punched him in the mouth, and then Claudio got up and punched Eddie in the mouth. I was like, did these dudes really just punch each other in the mouth in the middle of a match? I thought that might have been a little shoot right there, but the match was nice and clean. Beautiful. But while you're trying to figure that out, thank you guys very much for hanging out and chat with us tonight. I thought this was an incredible episode of Dynamite, Grand Slam, whatever you want to call it here. I'm wondering if Grand Slam is going to become one of their pay-per-views in the future. Looks like they want to have 12 pay-per-views.
I think they'll keep that as a Dynamite.
I hope so. I really do hope so.
I mean, I do have a concern about AEW. Obviously, the news came out with the pay-per-view schedule. They're planning on doing another pay-per-view this year. after Full Gear, which would imply a December pay-per-view. And obviously Andrew Zarian said that he's expecting pay-per-views starting next year to be one a month, and they're all going to be on Max. I have a concern that I would like to see AEW kind of put to bed for me, in a sense that like I'm concerned right now with them doing a pay-per-view a month. And I like, is it mostly because of WWE and their pay-per-view schedule? Like, yeah, it is mostly based off of that, in a sense that like eventually something somewhere is going to lose quality, whether it be your pay-per-views or your weekly television. Dynamites and, and collisions and whatnot, a lot of times you do these matches that are very important, that are pay-per-view level matches, and that makes the free TV better. So like, I don't know. I saw a Tranquilo Club video from the other day. It was like a week or two ago, where it was a critique about AEW being overprotective with its booking, and I was watching and I was like, man, this is so true. Like, if they're gonna start doing monthly pay-per-views, I need to start seeing some more, like, throw your guys out there, man. Stop being so conservative with your booking and book these people, because we had a CM Punk run, and there are so many guys that he didn't have matches with.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't hate the work he did, but like, man, in hindsight, I really wish he hadn't done that match with QT Marshall. I wish he hadn't done that match with, like a few of those other throwaway matches. I would have liked to have seen something else in hindsight, but can you do?
Yeah, it is what it
But
is.
yeah, I'm concerned. I would like for my concerns to be reassured, but I it's one of those things we're gonna have to wait and see what happens. Not feeling super great about a pay-per-view a month though at the
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. What do we have lined up for Rampage and Collision?
see. Tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Friday night on Rampage, it's Rampage Grand Slam 2-hour show. Yeah.
Wow, 2-hour Rampage, man. That's gonna be nice.
Yeah, man.
If I'm not doing anything, actually, I might do a watch along, but I'm sure the wife might have some.
I can do a watch along too. I can do it.
I'll let you know. I'll see if the wife has any other ideas.
Gotcha. So this Friday on Rampage Grand Slam, Darby Allin and Sting versus Christian Cage, Luchasaurus. Orange Cassidy, Hook, and Chris Statlander will take on Cool Hand Ange, Matt Menard, and Anna Jay in a trios match. 4-way dance tag team match for the number one contenders for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships, the Kingdom, the Hardys, the Righteous, and Best Friends. Mike Santana is in action against one of the Iron Savages. I will be skipping that squash match because
It's not
it says
fair to
Mike
Santana, bro.
Look, man, I don't care who it is. I don't want to see the Iron Savages. I'm going to skip everything the Iron Savages are a part of.
Completely disagree with that.
Plus, it says Mike Santana in action. So not only is it the Iron Savages, but it's also going to be a squash match, and that's like a double negative. So no thanks. The AEW World Trios Championships, the Acclaim defending against Dark Order, Sky Blue versus Julia Hart, and the Mogul Embassy defend their Ring of Honor 6-man tag championships against the Hung Bucks. Over on Collision on Saturday night, pretty big show for them as well. Definitely a bounce back from last week. The 3-way dance for the TNT Championship: Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Darby Allin. Jay White versus Andrade El Idolo. Rob Van Dam in action, which that's interesting. I'm guessing the fact that he's like just coming in for like what I would assume a squash match, you got to think he's going to be sticking around for a little bit, right?
Hope so.
Hope so. The AEW World Tag Team Championship on the line, FTR versus the Workhorsemen, definitely better than the Iron Savages. To your point, though, it is still another one of these open challenge things. Okay, tell some stories, please. Let's do some stories here. Texas Deathmatch, Ricky Starks versus Bryan Danielson, going to be excellent. And then announced for Dynamite next week, we have the contract signing between Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland for WrestleDream.
Nice, man. I actually think those are going to be two pretty decent shows. Now, I just realized something. Nana is at Rampage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, this man cut the opener to our show on the same day as Arthur Ashe. This dude is a legend.
Yeah, man.
If you guys didn't see, please go back to the very, very beginning of the show. Right after the countdown, Prince Nana giving a shout out to the Broken Tables podcast. Loving it.
So Prince Nana is over as fuck tonight, by the way. I
Yeah.
just saw a video of the crowd with him tonight. Good stuff.
Man. Apparently, Macho Man just got tackled and escorted out by security.
Yeah, I did see that.
I think that Macho Man guy's at every show. I wonder what he did.
PW Insider is reporting that Jon Moxley may have suffered a concussion. That's the belief backstage.
Okay. I mean, if that's all it is, like in the NFL, a week or two, some rest, take care. Hopefully he'll be good. It's time for that vacation, Mox. It's well deserved. It's like a year past its time.
Man, I would love to know about this Fightful report. It is crazy. None of the aggregators have talked about it.
Yeah, and
Really
if you guys
crazy.
would like to hear about this Fightful report, because we may be off the air when he finally gets the answer here, join us in the Discord. We are constantly talking wrestling in the Discord pretty much all the time.
Ooh.
Well, what you got? What you got?
It's not good news. It's not about the Fightful report. Adam Cole is on his way to the hospital.
Yep. So I saw that one, man. Just Cole did not look good after he landed on that leg wrong.
Brian Alvarez is also reporting that Moxley is okay.
Good. That's good.
But again, like if he has a concussion, then he'll be out. Tony Khan just hinted to the live crowd at Arthur Ashe that they might do a pay-per-view in the future at Arthur.
Ooh, nice.
I would keep
that's
Grand
'cause
Slam to Dynamite.
I
would
think
keep that to Dynamite.
he hinted to the crowd and he said, you guys ready for a pay-per-view? Like hinting it was going to be a pay-per-view caliber show, I think.
Well, it happened 30 seconds.
Gotcha. Oh, that sucks, dude. I'm pretty sure. Well, I don't want to say anything like that, but I'm really hoping Adam Cole is okay. I'm hoping they're just taking him to the hospital to get it checked out. Fuck. I knew it right away. Something did not look right. I hate to say it, but it looked eerily similar to the way that Chris Statlander was walking after she hurt her knee. We'll see, but that's a major storyline right there. He's a Ring of Honor tag champion and all this stuff with MJF. Hope Adam Cole's all right, man. Do you got anything else that you want to go over here before we take off?
No, that's pretty much all I got. It's crazy that I can't find anything on this Fightful.
Damn it. That really bums me out here. Hopefully, I'm just really hoping he's all right. Maybe a little tweak, just a little strain maybe, but didn't look good. Did not look good. All right, man, you want to go ahead and close us out?
Absolutely. Well, this has been episode 176 of the Broken Tables podcast. Thank you to everyone hanging out with us here tonight in the chat. Thank you to Alex Sanchez, Michael Duke, the Coog. Let's see who else was here earlier. I believe I don't know if Brandon is still here, but thank you to Brandon for hanging out with us as well. If you like the video, make sure you like and subscribe on your way out. Ryan Davis was here as well. So yeah, like and subscribe. Join the Discord where we talk about pro wrestling, we talk about video games. Speaking about video games, we have the Game Room podcast happening usually every Monday night. Next week's episode is going to be a very Xbox heavy episode because Microsoft Warriors leaked a bunch of Microsoft stuff, so that'll be fun. Going to be talking about that a lot. If you like pro wrestling as well, obviously we will be back. I would say there's a good chance we do a watch along for Rampage. We will be back Saturday night for the Collision show. So, if you like pro wrestling, you like video games, you're in the right place. Subscribe to become a member. You get a really cool arcade cabinet badge as well as access to the sick-ass AEW emojis. Make sure you follow us on Twitter as well. You can find our Twitters in the description below. Is Zorro gonna let me pick him up? No, he's not. I'm gonna say we're about to have a special guest appearance, a debut, if you would, but he did not want. He doesn't want to be picked. Anyways, yeah. Until next time. Catch you guys later.
Right on. Right before we go off the air here, I am showing a clip of Tony Khan doing the Daniel Garcia dance. Let's go. That is great. All right, guys. Thank you guys very, very much for hanging out with us here tonight. Had a great night. Excellent episode of Grand Slam. Glad Moxley's okay. Hope Adam Cole is okay. Till next time, top guys out.